Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome. It is Wednesday afternoon, and that means it is time for another episode of Intentional Productivity Tips. I am your very favorite strategic productivity and host show, Megan, and I am so glad that you are here with us today. Today, we're going to just get down to some productivity basics. Today, we're going to talk about how to overcome some productivity challenges. But before that, let's take something very important and let's talk for just a moment about where you can find me. As I said, you can find me every Wednesday on USA Global TV and Radio's YouTube channel. I am here every week and you can watch me afterwards. Okay, so I do have a presentation today, so I am going to show the presentation and share my screen with you right now so that you can see what we're going to be presenting. And you will notice that today I am presenting, again, overcoming productivity challenges. And we are going to talk today about 4 client examples. Because again, as I mentioned, it is about getting real and talking about the basics of productivity. If we're not honest with each other about our productivity, well, then we can't be intentional. And so my goal with you is to always be intentional and honest. So we are going to talk about 3 things today. The first thing we're going to talk about is intentional productivity tips. Has now been around for a few episodes. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the why and a little bit about the show, Intentional Productivity Challenges. I have 4 productivity challenges we're going to talk about that are specific for 4 different clients, actually several different clients. And then today's productivity quick tip is identifying your A team. So I've been saying productivity a lot so far. So let's get started. The first thing I wanted to share and remind you with today is that Intentional Productivity Tips, as a weekly show on USA Global TV and Radio, we do have a mission and a vision that we try and uphold weekly. Our mission is to discover practical productivity tips and solutions to take control of your time, to turn stress and overwhelm into achievement and fulfillment with intentional productivity tips. So my mission every week is to help you take control of your time and to enjoy your productivity, because you've worked really hard for this life. You should enjoy it. The vision of Intentional Productivity Tips is to make the conversation about productivity more accessible, intentional, practical, and fun for everybody. Because while it is a stressful topic, we don't have to make it a stressful life. We can choose how we want to look at productivity. And so that's why weekly, our vision here is to make the conversation fun and informative and interactive.
Hi, Megan. I just dropped in. I'm super excited about your show. We'd love to see your deck. It's not showing up on the screen.
Oh, it's not. Okay. Well, thank you so much for letting me know that, Dr. Jacqueline.
You are welcome.
So let me come back and figure out why that's happening.
Okay. I'll just wait here to see if I can do anything. There you go. All right.
Oh, thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it. And everybody, thank you for following along with me before my presentation. And now we are back to our show. Okay. Are you able to see my presentation now?
Yes, it looks fantastic. Well done.
Thank you so much. And I'm so glad that you're here, Dr. Jacqueline, because one of the things I can tell you with is that next week, I think you'll love the show that we're going to talk about, because next week we're going to have our very first guest. Her name is Jenny Rice. She is a holistic course creator. She's owned her own business for years, has an amazing way to help with courses, and also she is a coach of a variety of ways. So I think Dr. Jacqueline, you and other guests are going to love meeting her next week. In November, we're going to have another guest. His name is Christian, and he works with me at Indelible. Christian is designing security solutions. He is a network and IT whiz, and I'm excited for you to be able to meet him. And you might see a familiar name there when you see he is with Indelible, as am I. So we are coworkers and we work together there. So we will talk about productivity. So this, as we talked about intentional productivity tips, I also wanted to remind you a little bit. What is a strategic productivity partner? As I tell you every week, I am your favorite strategic productivity partner. So my question to you is, how can I help you be more productive? And that's my goal as a strategic productivity partner. The most important thing I do is I am a trusted partner with my clients. And after that, I come up with, how can we be accountable? What are resources that you need? How can we take control of your time, be strategic, and also I am a guide to help you find the best tools and assets that will work for you right now. So that is what a strategic productivity partner is. So I wanted to take a few minutes because, as I've said, we're several shows in, and I wanted to remind you all a little bit about what the vision and the mission of intentional productivity tips is, as well as what a strategic productivity partner is. Again, the goal is to help you enjoy the life you've worked so hard to create. So you're working smarter, not harder. So let's talk about some productivity challenges that we have. In a world of productivity, challenges are puzzle pieces of varying sizes, shapes, and by thinking creatively, we can find the connections that lead to our unique solutions. So the way I look at productivity challenges, what is our perspective? As you all know, as an SVP, I have worked with clients for about 11 years. I've worked with hundreds of clients in a variety of situations. So today, when we're talking about overcoming productivity challenges, I thought, let's go to some of the people who have taught me the best, and let's use 4 examples from clients of challenges that I've helped them overcome. So the first challenge, and this is one of my favorite challenges that clients will come up to me. When I very first start talking with clients, they'll say something like, my goal is to catch up on email. Or some clients even go to, I am going to have a zero inbox mindset. And I do have clients, and there are people out there who want to get to 0 emails in their inbox at some point in their day. And I say, bless their hearts. I think that is a great goal to have. We know that people have these goals of, I'm going to get through my email. I'm going to get caught up on my email. I'm going to respond within 24 hours. And this can be a challenge because we know that email volume is increasing. We know workloads are increasing. And so how do we do that? So I have a lot of clients that will just start with the email frustration. Can you relate? One of the things I said, one morning I was logging on with a client, and his response was, Megan, what the email? And it made me laugh. I thought he was going somewhere else with the what the, but when he said email, I understood. What can we do about email? What are some solutions to the challenge that most of us have? I always say, start with reviewing your daily process time block. One of the things, and we have talked about this before, but one of the things that I talk to my clients about, whenever email is a stress, say, okay, let's look at your daily process. Look at what are all of the things you need to check, what are all of the emails, and then let's put that on your calendar. Let's either identify a time every day or be flexible. But again, one of the goals when we're overwhelmed by email, we need to spark up the intentionality just a little bit. One of the ways we can be more intentional, again, is with our daily process. We can also adjust time blocks into our calendars so we have time for email. Another thing is to adjust expectations. We need to focus on prioritizing important emails and manage daily tasks better, even if it means that reaching email 0 isn't feasible. For some people, I have one client, and I've worked with him for a long time. And again, his goal has been email 0. When his inbox is at email 0, there is a special kind of joy and happiness. And I think that that's a great thing. But he also has grown in his business. He's grown in his responsibilities. And so spending hours a day in his email was not realistic. One of the things we worked with him to find was he found somebody that is his email assistant. So now she's an executive assistant, but at the time, what her job and what she was hired to do was to help him go through his emails every day, and she would create an email digest, so he knew they had a system of starring and things like that. But again, it's about saying how do we fix it, right? So if we know that our email and getting our email box clear and through it is priority, one way we might be able to hire somebody. And in this case, it was worth X dollars an hour to my clients to do that. We also know that there are times that we might not be able to hire somebody, and that's okay too. So in that time, what we want to say is, what are the resources that are out there? What are the tools? Is it front email? When you think about it, there are email systems that are out there and resources that can help us. And again, it's also about adjusting your expectations. So first challenge, email, 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 and more email. What the email? Let's say, again, review your daily process. Do you have time blocks to look at email? Adjust your expectation and look at the resources and support you can have to get there. The second challenge that I've had many clients experience. Do you often feel overwhelmed and unable to complete your daily tasks, leading to frustration? What happens here is a lot of times people can just feel overwhelmed. And when clients when we log on to a Zoom, I will be honest with you, I can tell within the first 30 seconds how my clients are doing by their face. It's amazing what you can tell from someone just from right here, because you can realize and see the overwhelm. And we know that when it comes to being productive, what is one of the biggest things that's going to hinder it? Being overwhelmed. It's going to squash our productivity. So what we want to do is, we know this can be a challenge. It might be a project for the day. It might be where you are in life. It might be whatever. But when you're getting that overwhelmed, there are solutions. In the wise words of the philosophers in sync, I like to say, bye, bye, bye to feeling overwhelmed. When we think about productivity, there has got to be a better way. So when we're feeling overwhelmed, we need to ask ourselves, stop. I always say to my participant or my clients, and one of the things I'll say is, do you like how you feel right now? And their answer is generally no, especially if it's in a state of overwhelm. So then we want to again look at, what can we do to say there's got to be a better way? Some of the solutions for saying bye, bye, bye to feeling overwhelmed is resetting your expectations. Again, we go back to, what are your expectations by looking at your daily schedule? If you have 10 hours of meetings in a day, you're not really going to get that much project work done, are you? So it's important to be realistic with your expectations. If you've got meetings and you have to be them and aren't going to be able to do projects, then don't assume you're going to do projects that day. Know that at the end of the day, you finished your meetings, you put in your 10 hours, and you've done the best you can. Again, that feeling of overwhelm can oftentimes be by ourselves, by continuing to layer the stress on ourselves and by not saying, stop, it's time to reset and move forward. Again, blocking specific times for meetings. If we're feeling overwhelmed, if there's tasks we're not getting, block time on your calendar, block time for yourself, block time when you don't have calls. I love when I hear companies say, we have no meeting Thursdays or Fridays. I love that, because again, that's the company saying, we're going to let you focus. Remember the importance of saying no. Sometimes we become overwhelmed because we say no. We can't say no. We say yes to everything. And so, again, by knowing what our expectations are, by being realistic with what we've got going on, we're going to be able to know whether we can say yes or we need to say no. And again, if we're feeling overwhelmed, can we outsource? Are there resources? What is it that we can do? Whenever we've got a challenge of feeling overwhelmed, the first thing we have to do is stop. And then we have to say, okay, there has got to be a better way. So our second challenge is saying bye, bye, bye to feeling overwhelmed. The third challenge I've had when working with clients, and this one might sound familiar to you, because I will say about 90% of the clients I've worked with, this has been a topic. When am I supposed to? It's thinking about time management for administrative tasks. Have you ever found yourself wondering, when will they want me to go, they're only open from? It's easy to feel overwhelmed by our increasingly busy schedules. We want to think about the strategies we can implement to be able to prioritize our administrative tasks, our personal life, and our professional life. So if you've got a packed to-do list, let's talk about a time to plan it and tackle it. So when we think when are we going to get to it? when it comes specifically to admin tasks, I am a proponent in this. Allocate an admin day or half day. Block it off and know that that's the day you're going to take care of all those other appointments. It could be a vision appointment. It could be picking up glasses. It could be, oh, I need to go to register. Oh, I need to go to the DMV. Oh, I have a personal insurance claim that I need to get on the phone for, and I know it's going to take a while, right? Any of those things that we have in our lives that generally sometimes we're not able to fit into the day, we want to create an admin block or an admin day. I recently had a client who has started implementing these, and I will tell you, his joy in being able to click off all of the things on his Trello board that he got done in an admin day was a great thing to watch. So you want to use your calendar block off time when it comes to admin days. You also, when you're thinking of admin days, you want to be proactive and you want to look, are there days that you can group things together? You just want to be proactive and again, intentional when you're planning your admin days. So we get to a point when productivity, and it can be a challenge because we're wondering, how am I supposed to get this done? When that happens, stop and ask yourself, when can I schedule it? And block that time off on your calendar. What I always say is whenever I've got a scheduled block on my calendar and I work with other people, or if other people have access to my calendar or want to schedule things, there are times when I will be honest, again, this is me, Megan, I will in red on my calendar tell people, do not, no, this is not your time, this is my time, and it's okay to do that. So if you need some admin time and help getting things done, I highly recommend that. Our fourth question, productivity basic challenge. Have you ever, a project comes, you're assigned a project or you have something you know that you need to work on, and so you sit down and you plan the deadlines because you love doing that. You love planning the deadlines and getting it all organized. But then when it comes to actually doing the project, you don't really like to do it until it's almost time to be done. So I've had a couple of clients that this has been their example. The first client I had, his name was Christian, different Christian than Indelible Christian. But this Christian was an engineer, and he had a lot of projects and he would have a lot of things he would need to think about. And so we would plan it and we would say, okay, you're going to work on it. And we would start the project from the front. And then he wouldn't do any of those time blocks because he loved the feeling of waiting until the end. That's when his body and his mind worked the best. I've had a couple other clients since then. The great thing that I learned with Christian was instead of planning a project moving from the front, we planned a project moving from the back, right? So if we know that our productivity preferences are, I love to plan a project. I love to do all the things. I love to create a Monday board, an Odoo board project. I love to create a Trello board, right? I love to do the planning. But then when it comes to doing, I kind of like to wait until it's almost right before the project's due because that little bit of energy really does well for me, right? Again, I'm sure you maybe know somebody, or maybe this is you. I've had several clients like this. So again, what we need to think about is flip our perspective, flip the planning perspective and approach. If you ever have something that you're identifying, I love the planning, but the doing isn't working right now, then look at yourself and ask yourself, what's a better way to do it? Flip the perspective. And so what I started doing with Christian and my several other clients in this situation is we would say, okay, your project is due on the 31st of October. So we're not going to start thinking about it. And we know that it's going to take about 6 hours. And he would do it, for example, maybe he was going to spend time on the 29th, 30th, and 31st, 2 hours each day, right? So then we were able to get the project done. So again, it's just thinking and perspecting to ourselves. How can we do it that works for us? We need to remember one thing that's important whenever we're looking at the perspective of when we do work, the actual task time is critical. So when we're thinking of how we're going to plan projects, identifying how long tasks are going to take is critical and crucial. So I would say be intentional to take that time with your projects and identifying. The last thing I say, whenever it comes down to your productivity preferences, embrace them. Embrace what works for you. If it's a last minute work style, then establish the framework to make that happen. There is no shame. When it comes to productivity, it's important to remember there is no shame for how you do it. According to a study by the American Psychological Association, individuals who actively address their productivity challenges are 60% more likely to achieve their goals and experience less stress. So that's why today we've been talking about how to overcome productivity challenges. Because to me, if spending some time and effort increases the success rate by 60%, I'm in. So that's why we wanted to talk a little bit today. So today we've talked about the challenges of email. We've talked about the challenges of how am I supposed to get all of this done? I'm feeling overwhelmed. We talked about the challenges of having an admin day and getting some of those life things done. And we talked about the challenge of I love planning, but then I want to wait till the last minute. So if you think about it, there's been 4 themes for overcoming productivity challenges today, right? So almost all of the challenges we talked about the importance of completing a daily process. If you're curious, there was an episode called Productivity Boost Core 4 Habits on 9/4/24, where we talk about a daily process. So implementing a daily process, remember the importance of resetting realistic expectations. You're the only person that can set your expectations. So be intentional to tell people and yourself what works for you. The value of adding blocks to your calendar, all different kinds of types, right? Whether it be an admin day, whether it be a daily process day, whether it be checking email, blocks on your calendar can be a great way to take control of your time and overcome productivity challenges. And the 4th is embrace all of your productivity preferences. There's no shame in finding what works for you. So today, our goal has been to think and look at different productivity challenges. Let's look at this week's productivity quick tip. So this week's productivity quick tip is also, as I'm going to say every week, they're all important. It's all useful and valuable information. This week, we're going to talk about building your A team for support. I call my A team my angel team. I have a group of angels that have been in my life, that have supported me personally and professionally, right? So what is building an angel team or an A team? One of the things I say is identify your A team, your people who will support you. Those trusted individuals or resources who can help you overcome challenges when you're feeling overwhelmed, those who are a phone call away without any expectations. I always say the people that are in your A team are those people who, again, they know you, they support you, they care about you, they want you to succeed. They're the ones when you call with a frustration and a challenge, they're going to ask, are you venting or do you want me to help you brainstorm a solution, right? Because sometimes we're just venting and that's important. Why it works. Having a reliable support system can make a significant difference in managing stress and managing productivity. Your A team can help provide a fresh perspective, advice, or simply an ear when you need one. I will say one of my favorite members of my A team, well, all of them are my favorite, as you can tell, but one experience that I've loved from my A team was when I was working in the physical when I was working in corporate America, when I was working in physical locations, I was managing and had I was a deputy director, so I had a lot of people that were working for me. And so there were a lot of times there was a challenging situation, and I had a member of my angel team where I could just send him a text and it could just be whatever I wanted to say at that moment. And it was awesome because, sometimes there's something you want to say and you just can't. Right. So one way an angel team can help you is by being there for you then. They also listen to your ideas. So how do you implement? You identify your A team. I say list your supportive people, friends, families, colleagues, mentors, people who understand your goals. One of the things I've learned going into my business, when I started my business, not everybody understands. If you've not started a business, you might not understand. And so it's good to know people and to communicate with people who are like-minded and understand what you're going through. I say reach out to your A team, reach out, and when overwhelmed, contact them. Share challenges or vent frustrations. Be there for them also, right? Part of being a friend is also part of having a friend is being a friend. Part of having an A team is being a supportive A team. Utilize resources, explore productivity apps. There's great ways that you can connect people, coaching services, and then foster connections. Regularly engage with your team of your supporters, whether it be through check-ins, coffee chats, online discussions. For example, this week I'm planning a happy hour with one person on my A team. Tomorrow I've got to connect with another person on my A team. It takes being intentional, but it's important to be able to have and build those relationships. So I say building your A team, the benefits are endless. It reduces your feelings of isolation and feeling overwhelmed. It provides new ideas and it enhances your resilience because you have supporters. So, my next three tips for you when it comes to building your A team: identify your A team. Then I would say be intentional to schedule time to connect with your angels. And then do unto your angels as you want them to do unto you. I really would say when you have a team of support, again, I call mine my angel team. I would say I'm blessed to have them. And I think you will be too when you think about your support system and the people who are there for you. It is so important to think about all of the elements of productivity. I remember when I was talking to one of my clients about his support team, and he was like, Megan, this isn't productivity. I'm paying you to help me with productivity. It's like, yes, you are paying to help me with productivity. And I would say that, again, allowing space for friends and positivity in your life is going to help you be more productive. We are not productive when we are stressed, right? And so it's going to be a way to help that. So today, what an interesting experience it's been. We have been able to talk a little bit about what the show Intentional Productivity Tips is about. We have talked about overcoming 4 productivity challenges from clients. And then we also talked about our productivity quick tip. As every week, I hope you learned at least one new thing that you'll be able to take with you and help your productivity journey. I am Megan. I am your very favorite strategic productivity partner. I thank you for being here with me today. And I look forward to being with you next Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can find me and watch me on USA Global Radio and TV's YouTube channel, where you should like, subscribe, and be notified of new shows. Thank you for being with me. And I hope this week you take the time to be intentionally productive and make your life the one that you've been working so hard. Enjoy the life you've worked so hard to create. And now a word from our sponsors.
Hello, I'm children's author Diane Floyd Bain, and I am co-host for several of the USA Global TV and radio shows. I joined because of the purpose of the USA Global TV and radio. They provide content for the viewers and listeners, an opportunity for people around the world to have their own show or even be a guest on an existing show. We truly believe in helping others get their positive message out to the world. We also have the opportunity for the listeners. You can watch on several platforms, and on YouTube, you can ask questions and even give a comment. We absolutely love it. I love being part of the USA Global TV and radio because I love positive messages, and who doesn't? And we need more of that in the world. We are a family, and we hope you will join us and become part of the family too.